Sometimes scientists dig up something so strange it doesn't just raise eyebrows, it sends them scrambling for answers. These discoveries aren't misidentified fossils or bones from known creatures. These are real skulls and remains that don't fit species on Earth, at least not ones that we recognize. Whether it's a massive serpent skull unearthed in an ancient lake bed, or a skeleton pulled from Siberian ice that looks more alien than animal, these finds remain some of the strangest unsolved cases in the world of paleontology. When archaeologists began excavating in the dried up remnants of Lake Texcoco near Mexico City, they didn't expect to find what looked like the skull of a creature straight out of mythology. Buried deep beneath ancient sediment, they uncovered a large, elongated skull that resembled a serpent, but not like any snake that we know. Its bone structure didn't align with modern reptiles. It had wide set forward-facing eye sockets and a jaw structure that suggested immense bite force. Some thought it might be a ceremonial carving, but further analysis revealed real organic bone material. To this day, no one has definitively classified what animal it came from. In 1997, a group of explorers entered an ice cave deep in the Altai Mountains of Siberia. What they found inside defied logic. A humanoid-like skeleton, partially frozen, with a long, narrow skull and unusually large eye sockets. Even stranger, the remains had 6 fingers on each hand. Russian scientists reportedly took samples, but no peer-reviewed study was ever published. Some believe it was a hoax or an ancient burial artifact, while others suggest it was a new species or maybe not even from Earth at all. The lack of transparency has only deepened the mystery. When fossil hunters first uncovered the massive skull in Egypt's Valley of the Whales, they were convinced they'd discovered a sea serpent. And honestly, who could blame them? This thing had terrifying razor-sharp teeth, a serpentine skull over 5 feet long, and bones that twisted like an aquatic snake. For decades, no one knew what to make of it. Eventually, scientists classified it as a Basilosaurus, a now extinct species of early whale. But here's where things get weird. Basilosaurus didn't look or behave like any whale alive today. It had a long, eel-like body, and jaws that suggested it was a vicious predator, not a filter feeder. In fact, it looked more like a sea monster than a mammal. Even today, paleontologists debate whether Basilosaurus fits neatly into any evolutionary lineage. It's technically a whale, but nothing about it makes sense, especially with that skull. In 1929, along the muddy banks of the Aitape River in Papua New Guinea, researchers found what looked like a human skull. But when they cleaned it off and took a closer look, it became clear that this wasn't just any old relic. The skull was thick-boned with a sloped forehead and an unusually heavy brow ridge, traits that didn't match the anatomy of any local population. At first, people thought it might be the skull of an ancient tribal person or even a misidentified animal, but decades later, new analysis revealed something shocking. The surrounding sediment showed marine microfossils, meaning this individual may have died in a tsunami. Possibly the oldest known tsunami victim ever recorded. Still, that revelation didn't explain the skull's shape or size. Some anthropologists have quietly speculated that it could represent a long-lost human subspecies, or even something else entirely. High in the limestone caves of China's Yunnan province, researchers stumbled upon something totally unexpected in 2012. 2 human-like skulls that didn't match any known species. These remains belonged to what scientists would later call the Red Deer Cave people, and they raised more questions than answers. The skulls were thick and robust, with short, flat faces and wide cheekbones, but their craniums were oddly shaped, smaller and more primitive than modern humans. Here is the real kicker. Radiocarbon dating showed these individuals lived just 14,500 years ago, which means they were walking the earth at the same time as Homo sapiens. Some experts thought they might be hybrids between ancient and modern humans. Others wondered if they were an entirely unknown branch of our family tree. Despite years of study, their exact identity remains one of anthropology's weirdest unsolved cases. is. How did they survive so long without leaving more of a trace, and why haven't we found anything like them since? Kap Dwa is one of the strangest skulls ever put on display. The story claims that it came from a 12-foot tall, two-headed giant discovered in Argentina in the 1600s. Eventually, the preserved skull made its way to England, where it was exhibited in various oddity museums. While some dismiss it as a hoax, X-rays and surface scans of the skull show bone structures that are hard to replicate artificially. It has two distinct cranial cavities and a jaw structure that doesn't match any known primate. Without verified DNA testing, no one knows if it's a clever fake or a relic from a forgotten chapter of evolution. In 2008, paleontologists discovered fossil remains in Madagascar that belonged to a frog so massive it earned the nickname devil frog. The Beelzebufo skull measured over 8 inches long with a wide bone-plated structure built like armor. It had powerful jaws capable of biting small dinosaurs. Its unique skeletal structure doesn't fit neatly into any known frog lineage and shows characteristics closer to ancient reptiles than modern amphibians. It remains one of the most bizarre amphibian fossils ever found. In a Colombian coal mine in 2009, researchers stumbled upon fossilized vertebrae and jaw fragments that were almost too big to believe. They belonged to Titanoboa, a prehistoric snake that could grow over 40 feet long and weigh over 2,500 pounds. But what caught scientists off guard was its skull. It didn't look like modern snakes. The shape of its jaw and skull bones suggested a feeding style and muscle structure never seen before. It was a predator on a whole different scale, and its remains still don't quite match any known lineage. When amateur fossil hunter Francis Tully discovered a strange fossil in 1958, he couldn't have imagined it would become one of the most baffling mysteries in paleontology. Named the Tully monster, the creature's remains include a long torpedo-shaped body, stalk eyes, and a clawed proboscis. For decades, no one could figure out if it was a vertebrate or an invertebrate. Some modern studies and high-tech scans, it still doesn't fit comfortably into any known phylum. Some scientists say it might not even belong to any existing group on Earth. So I ask you, is the Tully monster an alien fossil? I'll let you decide that one. In the early 1900s, miners working in Lovelock cave uncovered what appeared to be giant human skulls and bones. Some of the skulls were said to measure over 12 inches from crown to base and had jawbones large enough to fit over a normal man's head. Early reports were dismissed as exaggeration, but photographs and museum records confirm the existence of abnormally large skulls. While skeptics say they were simply large humans, others argue the size and proportions don't match any known human population. To this day, the origins of these skulls remains a complete mystery, and many of them have mysteriously vanished from public view. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye!